Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jackie and today we're working on overall flexibility through the entire body. I hear time and time again that people are afraid to start yoga because they don't think they're flexible enough. But there are no prerequisites to start yoga. If you have a mind and a body, you can do yoga. And the more you practice, the more flexible you'll become. You can save this video and come back to it and you'll notice your flexibility improve over time. So come join me on the mat and I'll show you some of my favorite stretches that will help you edge a little bit closer towards your flexibility goals. Alright, let's start off with a nice gentle forward fold, just with bent legs. So bend the knees as much as you like, and we'll try to sit up as high as we can, and then try to bring your belly down to your thighs. So again, bend the knees as much as you need. You might be all the way up here, or you might be a little bit further out. Belly down to thighs, hands down. And just drop your body in between your legs. Let the head rest down and we'll stay here for a nice few deep breaths. Try to expand your belly into your thighs with every breath in. And then release a little bit more tension. Find a little bit more space. More depth with every breath out. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And on the next breath, slowly lift your head back up. Bring your hands back towards your body. Take your hands behind you, straighten the legs, and we'll just shake it out a little bit. And then we'll come up onto our hands and knees. And then we'll step the right leg in between the hands and then shift our weight up, hands to your hips, and just make sure that your hips are pointing to the top of your mat and they're both on the same level, so we don't have any twisting action going on. And then we'll straighten the front leg, flex the right foot, and then pull the muscles up above that right kneecap, coming into our half splits. So again, let's hinge forward from the hips, and then hands can come down to your thighs or to your shins or even to the mat. Try and keep that long straight spine. And breathing in, we'll bend the right knee, come into a lunge, open to the chest. And breathing out, coming back into your half splits, maybe finding a little bit more depth. Breathing in, coming forward, hands can also be on your knees. Breathing out, half splits. One more time, breathing in, lunge. Breathing out, half splits. This time we're staying here. Bring your hands to wherever they feel comfortable. Deep breaths. Keep pulling up the muscle above that right kneecap. And on the next breath out, let's release the front leg, coming into our lunge position. Option to stay here with the hands on the thighs, or maybe one hand down, maybe both hands down, or we can come into a quad stretch. So if we're coming into the quad stretch, we'll bend the left knee, reach the right arm behind, and then grab onto your left foot, and then gently pull it closer towards your body. Maybe you sink your hips down a little bit more into the mat. Again, nice deep breaths. Try to focus on the exhale. The exhale is going to really help you release and let go and find a bit more joy and comfort in your stretches. So nice deep breaths in. And slow, controlled, even breaths out. One more time. All right, doing really well. Let's release the back leg. Right hand comes back to frame the right foot, and we'll move our hips back and then bring the knee back underneath the hips. Just take a moment here. You might like to shift your hips from side to side. Do whatever feels good. Notice the difference in your hips. And then when you're ready, we'll come to the other side. So left foot steps in between the hands. Bring the body up, hands to the hips. Just notice where your hips are, if both hip bones are pointing to the top of the mat and if they're on the same level. And then we'll stretch the left leg, flex the left foot, pull up the muscle above the left kneecap, and then start to hinge forward from the hip. So keeping the spine nice and long. Hands come to the thighs or the shin or the mat. And on the next breath, coming back into our lunge, bend the left leg, shifting the weight forward. Maybe the hands are on the thighs. And then breathing out, half splits. Breathing in, coming forward. And breathing out, back into your half splits. Maybe finding a little bit more depth this time. One last time, breathing in, coming forward, lunge. Breathing out, back into your half split, staying here this time. Flex the left foot, pull up the muscles above the left kneecap. Nice straight and long spine and deep breaths. Try and focus on the exhalation, making it longer than your inhalation. Try that for a few breaths and notice any difference that happens in your body. Let's take one more breath here. And on the next breath, let's come into our lunge. Bend the left knee. Shift the hands forward onto your thighs, or maybe one hand on the mat, maybe both hands on the mat. Staying in your lunge position or coming into the quad stretch by bending the right leg. Take the left arm behind, grab onto the right foot, and then gently pull it towards your body. Again, focusing on the exhale, making it nice and long, even and steady. And do you notice anything, any difference when you take those long exhalations? Do you notice that you can actually come deeper into the pose? That you've allowed yourself to let go of any gripping, any clenching, any tension in your body. On the next breath, let's release the right leg. Left hand comes back underneath. Shift your weight back and then bring the left knee back underneath the left hip. Again, just move your hips however you need to. And when you're ready, let's come up onto all fours with the wrists underneath shoulders and knees underneath hips. Let's take a few rounds of cat and cow. Let's breathe in, drop the belly, reach the tailbone high, take your gaze forward. And then breathing out, scoop in through the belly, Tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, press the shoulder blades up to the sky. Breathing in, coming forward again, dropping the belly, opening up through the chest. And breathing out, rounding through the spine. Continue in your own time. Follow your own breath. You might even like to close your eyes and really feel the movement in your spine, in your body. One more breath. And on the next breath, let's come back to a neutral spine and we'll come into our puppy pose. So keeping the hips above the knees, walk the hands forward and then drop your forehead and chest down to the mat. Maybe your elbows rest down onto the mat also. Close down your eyes and try and relax as much as you can into this pose. There's another name for this pose that we use in yin yoga called melting heart pose. So if you use this imagery to guide you into this pose, you really think about melting or sinking your chest down into the earth. Try to reach the fingertips away from your body. Find that space through the spine, through the chest. If you are feeling really open, you can place your chin onto the mat. Let's take another few deep breaths here. Whichever variation you're taking, really allow the imagery of the melting heart to guide you deeper and deeper. One more breath. On the next breath, slowly lift up the head. Walk your hands back underneath your shoulders and shift your weight all the way back. Come into a closed-legged child's pose. Knees together. Bring your body over your thighs, forehead on the mat, arms to either side, palms facing up. Let's just take a few moments here. Notice any sensations that are happening in your body. And on the next breath, let's bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Gently press yourself back up. And we'll come into our Yogi Squat or Malasana. So shift the weight forward, tuck the toes under, and then come up and bring the feet to the outside edges of your mat and then squat all the way down. Now, if your heels are up off the mat, that's totally fine. You can keep them like this, or if you want more support, you can actually roll up your mat as many times as you need and just place them underneath the heels. So this will give you a little extra support. Let's bring the hands to the heart center, elbows on the inside of the knees, and we're going to press the elbows into the knees so that we can get our hands really down into the center of our chest. Roll the shoulders back. Try to lengthen through your spine. So that's upwards through the crown of the head and then downwards through the tailbone. We don't want to find this rounded position in the spine, so really try and open up through the chest. You might like to shift a little bit from side to side. Find a little more openness through the hips. Let's take one more breath here. And when you're ready, bring the hands back down to the mat. Shift the tailbone up to the sky. Walk the feet underneath the hips. And then walk the hands forward. Let's come into a downward facing dog. Take a moment here just to pedal out the feet. And on the next breath, we'll float the right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. Flex the right foot. And then we'll bend the right knee and open up through the hips into a scorpion tail. Try to point the right knee a little bit closer or further up towards the sky. And then breathing out, let's bring the right knee into the chest. Bring the ankle over towards the left wrist and the knee towards the right wrist. Drop the back knee and then walk yourself back. Now again, here you might like to place something underneath the right hip, or you can again roll up the mat if you're not too far away and sit down on that. Try to keep your weight through the center alignment of your body and not drop over to the right side. So it's again your choice to stay up high. This works a little bit more into your back bends, or you can bring your weight forward and this will work a little more into your hips and your glutes. So your choice. Keep the right foot flexed wherever you are, and we'll take a few deep breaths here. Really focus on the exhalation. Focus on the letting go of the sinking deeper. One more breath. And then if you're on your elbows, let's come back up onto the hands. Let's all tuck the left toes under and then shift the weight back into downward facing dog. And just take a moment here, walk the feet out, shift the hips from side to side before we come over to the next side. Notice the difference from one side to the other. The openness, the space that you've created. And on the next breath, float the left leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open up the hips, scorpion tail. Try to point your left knee a little bit more towards the sky. And then breathing out, left knee comes into the chest. And we come into a half pigeon. Ankle comes towards the right wrist, knee towards the left wrist. Drop the back knee, and then shuffle yourself back. Again, placing a cushion or rolling up the mat underneath your left hip if you need to. And staying up high, working into your back bends, or coming forward and working on your hips and your glutes. So find the most comfortable position for you. And we'll stay here for a few deep breaths. You might even like to close down your eyes. Two more breaths. Try to find that moment of letting go just a little bit more. Telling yourself that you're in control and that it's okay to let go. Alright, on the next breath, slowly lifting the head up if you're on your elbows, walking back up onto your hands. Tuck the right toes and then shift yourself back into downward facing dog. Again, let's walk the feet out. Do whatever you need to. And then let's come back onto the knees and then back onto a seated position with the legs stretched out. We're going to come again to our Paschimottanasana, or our seated forward fold. This time we're going to try and straighten the legs. So with the legs out in front, press the backs of the knees down into the mat, flex both feet, breathe in, reach the arms up, and then breathing out. Let's start to hinge forward from the hips. It doesn't matter how far you go. We want to try and get the belly to the thighs first of all. So really try and keep nice and long through the back. Hands can come down to your shins, or if they reach your feet, you can always grab your feet. And then you can let your head drop down, come into your forward fold. We'll take a few deep breaths here. Keep pressing the backs of your knees into the mat. Maybe you can close down your eyes. Noticing any thoughts that may be coming up into your mind. Noticing if you've compared your practice to anyone else, or compared your flexibility to someone else. And knowing that wherever you are in your journey is the perfect place that you need to be right now. Your practice is yours and there's no comparison to anyone else's. Let's take one more deep breath here. Sigh it out through the mouth, let go. On the next breath, slowly lift up the head, walk your hands back towards your body. Shift them all the way behind and just rock the legs from side to side. We're going to do one last stretch where we're going to lay all the way down onto the mat. So just making your way all the way there, lay your head back. Let's bring the right knee into the chest and just rock it from side to side. And then extend the leg up to the sky. Hold on to the back of the thigh. Now it doesn't matter if your leg is bent or straight. We do want to try and straighten it as much as you can. So as long as you start to feel a bit of a stretch in the back of your leg, that's great. We're going to keep the foot flexed and press your thigh into your hand for a count of 5. So 1, 2, this is an active stretch, 3, 4, 5, breathe out, let go. You might be able to find a little bit more depth in your stretch. Let's do that 2 more times. Press your thigh into your hand for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe out, let go. Bring your leg a little bit closer. 1 more time. As you press your thigh into your hand, try to keep the legs straight as well, so we're not bending too much in the legs. We're always trying to press the back of the knee straight. Even if it doesn't get all the way there, that is the action that we're thinking of. So let's hold and press for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out, let go. Bring the leg closer. Okay, let's stay here for 5 more breaths. You're doing really well. Notice if you're gripping on anywhere, holding tension anywhere, just let it go. There's no need to hold on. Find that extra depth in the stretch of your legs. On the next breath, let's bend the leg and then straighten it all the way down to the mat. Shake out the legs a little bit. And then we'll come to the other side. Bend the left knee into the chest, hug it nice and close, rock it side to side. And then we'll straighten the leg as much as you can. Flex the foot. Leg may be bent, that's totally fine. Again, it's that action of trying to press the back of the knee straight towards the back of the mat. And on the next breath, We'll press the thigh into the hands for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out, release. Bring the leg closer. 2 more times. Press the thigh into the hands for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out, release. Bring the leg closer. Nice. 1 more time. Breathe out. Press the leg into the hands. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out, release. Bring the leg closer. Nice. Let's hold here for another 5 breaths. You might find also that one leg is a lot more flexible than the other, and that's totally normal. Don't try to compare your practice to others, and don't try to compare your sides with each other either. We are all born with asymmetrical bodies. All right, 1 more breath. You're doing really well. Try to stay with it. And then breathe out, release. Extend the leg out long. Let's give them a bit of a shake. And then bring the hands to either side or maybe on top of your belly. Let's close down the eyes. Just stay here for a few breaths. Take note of how your body is feeling. Try to relax in every single muscle in your body, including in your face. And slowly start to deepen your breath again. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll your ankles and wrists. And then rolling over onto your favorite side. Curl up into a ball. Use your arms as a pillow. And whenever you're ready, let's come up to a seated position. Let's bring the hands to our heart center, close the eyes down, sit up nice and tall. Take a moment to thank yourself for coming to your practice today and for showing up on your mat. And slowly blinking open the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me for today's practice. I hope your body is feeling really nice and loose. I would love to know how you're feeling, so let me know in the comments below. And if you liked today's video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and support me by subscribing so I can give you more free yoga videos like this. Don't forget also to hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos that I upload. I'll see you next time on here on the mat. Namaste.